You're a student, you applied to an internship online, and then you got the call or an email saying, hey, we want to schedule time with you to have a conversation. Well, congratulations. Now, how do you prepare for that? My next guest is going to offer 3 ways of how you can impress your summer internship interview here on Early Career Unlocked. Welcome, Dr. Vincent.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am so glad that you're here today, and you're going to talk about 3 ways to impress during your summer internship interview. But before we get started, tell the viewers a little bit about who you are.
I am Dr. Vincent Battles. I work for a defense contractor, so I am with a secret organization. You can actually find it on LinkedIn. So I am available. I am accessible.
Well, excellent. And again, we're going to talk about how you're going to impress during your summer internship interview. But I would like to know more about how are you specifically knowledgeable in this topic?
Very good. So I have many years experience, as I mentioned, but the experience really is around early career. So I've managed internship programs, co-op programs, externship programs. I've also directed a career service center where I actually met with many students, business students, dental students, mechanical engineering students. So when I tell you, I think I have a knowledge about this space, I have just a little bit.
So now we're going down to the advice portion of things, and I'm really curious to know your point of view. So, what 3 pieces of advice can you offer to our viewers when it comes to impressing during a summer internship interview?
I would say the first one is do your due diligence. Due diligence is actually doing your research, really understand what the company is, the company that you're applying for. And the one way to do that, simply go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a great feature where you can go to About section, go to the bottom of the About section. You can understand how many employees are there, the specialty of the company, and also what they do. The second would be the what I call the interview etiquette. Interview etiquette is very simple. It is really to understand not just to show up in person, but let's look at how do I show up on a virtual interview. A virtual interview, I would quickly say, it's important to understand the platform that you will be using. That's critical. Also, make sure you're free of any distractions around the space that you're interviewing. So make sure your space is dedicated for your interview, free from distractions.
So, I want to add to that as well because today's market, a lot of the interviews now are virtual.
Yes,
And sometimes all your interviews are virtual. And another thing you have to keep in mind is there's a lot of platforms being used for virtual
absolutely.
interviews. Teams, Zoom, I mean, you name it. There's all these different types.
Yes. LinkedIn has a version as well.
Yes, and you want to make sure that part of that etiquette is you test out your tech and that you're fully ready during the interview
Yes,
and you know how to use a platform for the interview.
very good. I echo that. That's really critical. Again, how to be successful in this interview process. The third one would be not just preparing for the interview, but understand what are you able to commit to for the internship. Are you able to commit only for the summer? When? Are you able to start in May, June? Are you able to only go through August? Or are you able to work part time in the fall? So, really be aware of what you're able to commit to this organization.
I like your point of view of, well, know when you're available
Yeah.
for that internship. A lot of companies may hire for summer, but
Yes.
sometimes they may want to extend to the
Yes.
fall, or they
Absolutely.
may want to hire in winter or
Yes.
early spring. Knowing your availability, knowing when your school is over, when your classes begin, it really helps the company or the recruiter on the other end go, okay, we can have them start here, maybe they can work past the summer and go into the fall. So you want to make sure that you know your dates because you're opening yourself up to opportunities
There
to
you go.
keep working.
The other part of that is if you're able to then work in the fall or the spring, you then need to understand is this now going to be a co op, a cooperative education, which means you would get credit for either working the fall or the spring. So be aware of what you're able to do and make sure you get credit because if you're not enrolled in school in that spring or fall semester, then it may delay your graduation.
I like the extra points that you're saying here. about knowing your dates, knowing if your co-op gives you credit. Even
Yes.
in your summer internship,
Mhm.
know fully well about the role and how it benefits you and your future
Absolutely.
classes, because it would become great project ideas when you're going back to school.
Exactly. And we are.
Three ways of how you can be successful during a summer internship interview. One, due diligence and researching the company. Two, be aware of your interview etiquettes. And three, be prepared for the interview. Dr. Vincent, thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Before we wrap things up, is there any last piece of advice or anything you'd like to offer to our viewers today?
Absolutely. I would say, you and I have shared this information. There's so much information online, but I would say also stop by your career service center. And there are many career service centers that's available. It's free. Some are specifically to that particular school, so it may be the business school of career services. It could be only for engineering, but please take time out and not just visit one time, but really make yourself known to, because that organization has knowledge of the careers. They have knowledge of how to be successful in your first interview or second interview or just your job. So this is important to stop by the Career Service Center.
I think a lot of the
Here I come.
career centers around the US are probably cheering and clapping, because that's what they try to do, is they try to help a student, all students, build those connections and prepare for interviews and prepare
Yes,
for success. So
absolutely.
again, wonderful chat, great advice,
Thank you.
and thank you so much, Dr. Vincent, for being here on the show.
Thank you. Be well. Have a good one.
All right. And then to the viewers, subscribe for more career advice from industry experts like Dr. Vincent here on Early Career Unlocked. I think it should be illegal to have unpaid internships,
Well,
but that's my
NACE would,
soapbox for another
yeah,
day.
NACE would agree with you. So the National Association of Colleges and Employees, they would agree with you. So.
Boom. That's it. We're done. See how fast that was?
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it.